showcase of dance. You're all dancers now. Yeah. No, it's funny. It is a lovely little bubble, a world unlike any I've known before. We're recording now, aren't we? Yes, we are.
Don't worry, it's all fine, nothing's going to go wrong. Your reputation is not going to fall apart. It's kind of weird though. I just find, I mean, it's not the first time that I've come to Elstree, but it is, I feel a little bit of me getting a bit depressed when I come up here. And I don't know whether that's...
Because of the sort of general environment, or the fact that it's not as magical as it looks on screen? Or...
I think it's actually, that when I see it on screen I think, oh, everything's okay.
Yes, exactly. The world is a wonderful, sparkly place, and then you get here and actually there's quite a lot of vans and cables, and the lights aren't on.
Do you just get used to that?
Yeah, well, it is fascinating though. So just from a nerdy sort of TV production point of view, it is fantastic to see what they do create from, as you say, a rather drafty lot on a North London light industrial estate. You know.
I like the precision.
And you know, because the production values are immensely high, and the craftsmanship of the props and the costumes and the lighting is, I mean, it's greater by far than anything I've ever seen. And I've worked on some pretty high-end shows. You know, I mean, the Proms is the most marvellous production with an awful lot of skill and talent in it too. But here, this is just on such a huge scale because it's a big primetime show, and there's nothing else like it really. And so I think that's one of the things I get a lot of joy out of is watching. I say, like the props guys making a boat, which will be in shot for 10 seconds. You know. But is amazing in its detail and
I think I really appreciate that actually. When like you say, it's like on the borders of wastage. It's not wastage at all. It's just sheer indulgence.
But it's quality though, you know, and actually it does make a difference. That is what makes us sitting at home kind of go, oh, everything's all right in the world, because look, doesn't it all look gorgeous? And it wouldn't look gorgeous if people cut corners constantly and didn't research the right makeup for the era of the song. Because that's, again, the other level of research, the costume, makeup and hair. You know, they really go into a lot of detail to make sure that, although you're only on for a minute and a half dancing, that song has got the right costume, has got the right amount of beading, has got the, you know, and it's historically accurate, and it's extraordinary. Actually.
I'm thinking of the word nerdy. I don't know why. Just because you talk about beading and and makeup. Not that that's something that I'd ever have considered before. The thing that really surprises me, because I've not watched this until this year.
Okay.
And the reason I've watched this the reason I hadn't watched it before is because my partner Simon refused to watch it and claimed that he wouldn't like it. And I thought that was a bit judgmental on his part. And then he said, or rather I said, you know, Katie Derham's taking part. He went, oh, well then we ought to watch it then. Hooray! And then within about 2 dances he got completely hooked. He won't like me telling you that, but I don't really care. The thing that really surprises me watching it though is that actually you are on for, it's a bit of a tough gig. You're on for a minute and a half doing something that you wouldn't naturally do. And then you have to stand in front of judges who are and it's live, so actually you have to remain, you might be dying inside or screaming. And then you have to go off elsewhere and do another live thing. Is that
be jolly?
Is that is it as difficult as I think it is?
I don't think it came as any massive surprise. The nuts and bolts and the structure of the programme was something that we were familiar with before you sign up. I mean, you know what to expect. You know it's a big entertainment show. Yes, it's about the dancing, but it's also about the fun and the games and the audience and the judges being sort of pantomime villains occasionally, or being your best friends another week. So you're rationally prepared for it, but it does come as a bit of an emotional shock when you're in the midst of it at first, and I mean that in a good way as well as a bad way, because there's the heightened reality of it all is quite overwhelming. So you're super giddy and excited when things go well, or just when we were launching the show, when we were all together for the first time, and you're in the studio and there's pyros and there's glitter cannons.
That doesn't happen in the Proms, does it?
No, it doesn't. Really.
No,
it should.
No, come along now. No, come on.
Darren, be serious. And you kind of go, I'm in a fantasy land of glitter and showbiz and music and laughter and everything's gorgeous and fluffy and wonderful and sparkly. That's great, but weird. And you get caught up in it, and then, as you say, you then have the opposite, which is you're live and somebody's being mean to you, and nobody likes hearing criticism. Nobody likes hearing criticism, especially if sometimes you know that it's being done for effect and not really because you
Yes.
deserve
Well,
it.
yeah, fine.
You know, but you have to just maintain a little sense of perspective and say, this is a wonderful, beautifully produced show. It's a show. It's a TV show. We are lucky to be part of it in that we are learning to dance and being taught by world-class professionals, which is a privilege and a wonderful life experience. But the deal is you take part in the panto, and that's what we signed up for, and you just have to deal with it. But it's interesting. It is a bit of a an emotional revelation sometimes.
I think I've noticed that. That's probably why I asked it,
Yeah.
and that's not said to make you feel uncomfortable. But I wasn't really prepared for how the programme can actually show people's vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Even though it's entertainment and it's meant to be,
Yes.
feel
but I think
good.
the other thing as well is that when it comes down to it, you work jolly hard on these dances, and you want to do well. You want to do as well as you can. You have to throw yourself into it. And dance, like any art form, is a wonderful, beautiful thing which people work very hard at and they take seriously. And there's a purpose to it, and there's a history to it, and there's a technique to it. And so you end up, it's not a laugh. I mean, you kind of can't treat it like that. You have to take it a little bit seriously. And so because of that, you then say, well, if there's a dance which is a serious dance, or an angry dance, or a beautiful dance, or a happy dance, or a lovely dance, sexy dance, whatever it might be, you are having to throw yourself into that emotional interpretation of it, at least to an extent. I mean, we're all amateurs, but you kind of have to give it a whirl. And so suddenly you are exposing emotional sides of yourself and sides of your character that you wouldn't normally be doing in your day job, or I wouldn't be doing in my day job, for sure. So that's... I don't mind doing that at all. I mean, again, I knew that when I signed up for it, but it is exposing.
So it pushes you then?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that seems like a really obvious question, doesn't it, really?
But it should, I think. Otherwise, you're sort of not trying hard enough.
You learnt the violin, didn't you? I seem to remember you saying.
I play violin and piano. Yeah.
Do you notice any? Did you perform the violin?
I've played. Most of the performance I've done musically has been in groups, has been in orchestras, been in amateur orchestras, and so on. I've done a little bit of for a program called First Love for Sky Arts. I relearnt my fiddle and took part with the Fidelio Trio in a short performance that takes place, which was phenomenally nerve-wracking. But I think probably the closest thing in terms of understanding the emotional commitment to the performance, which the pros put into this, and they want us to put in as well, is when I did Maestro a few years ago, and conducting again, not allowed to speak. I find that quite hard. Communicating intent, emotion, musical direction through gesture and facial expression and thought control. I found that hard, but that was a similar feeling, that feeling that you can't do it by halves. If you're going to do it, if it's going to work, you've got to commit to it. So what
did you learn from Maestro that has helped you in Strictly?
I was thinking about it, because it was a few years ago now, and I wish I made notes perhaps a little bit more. It's definitely the commitment and the realising that everybody around you is taking it seriously, so you can't just breeze in and go, oh, well, I'm just doing it for a couple of weeks, and I'll just have a bit of a giggle. That's not how it's going to work. You'll be caught out and spotted, and the audience will hate it. The people at home they don't want to watch somebody having a bit of a laugh or looking a bit embarrassed or a bit awkward. They want to see somebody properly trying and trying their best to make a beautiful performance, whether it's with an orchestra or on the dance floor. They don't mind if you muck up. They understand that you're not a pro, but they don't want to see you not give it your best shot. So I think that was something that I learnt. Trying to handle getting into a performance mode, getting into the zone, I suppose, before going on to live television. Maestro wasn't as big a circus as Strictly, but it was a big live show. It was orchestra. You had your moment. This is your performance opportunity, and you needed to try and get it right. And I do remember, and I've tried to remember this actually in recent weeks. I did okay in Maestro. I enjoyed it very much. It was very fascinating to learn to conduct. When I did a bit of Mozart's Requiem for my choral week, I don't know if you remember the format, but we had an opera week and a choral week and a concerto week. It was definitely the week I got the most out of, and which I was best at, and it was because I properly got into it.